Sorry, guys. I left you hanging for 2 months. But I'm back. Yeah, 2026 has been a decade, has it not? So let's get into it. Welcome back to Fantasy Fiction Friday. My name is Genevieve, and I'm reading to you from my novel. It is an anthology of short stories. They are dystopian in nature and for adults only. We're following a colony of fae down the halls of a dystopian nightmare. We are picking up with Cleon's Tale Part 2. A little recap. Cleon's and the Ladies of the Lily. She freaking hates it. She doesn't want to be there. And Janice is being a total twat to her. Let's go. That filter might have been a little much. Let's try this one, shall we? Because, spring. You're not like us, are you? Janice, with her perfect posture, sat beside me, crossing her legs at the ankles and sipping tea between her words. I was taken back, though I shouldn't have been. She had found a way to bring attention to disparage me at every meeting. She had taken on the unofficial role of leader, and the other just followed what she would say. If Janice wanted hibiscus tea and the others wanted coffee, it was hibiscus tea we all drank, without question, without fail. And she had chosen me, for whatever reason, to take special interest in. Pray tell, how did you come by an invitation from the king to join our little club? She put an emphasis on his title, as if I were somehow not worthy of knowing him personally. Now, the Ladies of the Lily did more than read and gossip. They planned all of the Crown's events as well. And each of us took part and attended all. I had no escort. And of course, Janice always made it a point to point me out and ridicule me, claiming I had special favors from the king to be permitted such leniency. But when it came to planning events, I had a skill that was invaluable. I could do the budgeting, draw up the contracts for goods and services, and make sure the event space was roomy enough for all who would be in attendance. Everything nobody else was qualified to do or had a desire to do. And still she demanded answers from me that were, frankly, none of her business. I sit on the king's council, I retorted, emphasizing his title, mimicking her question. I hoped my position would in some way force her to back off and find something else to obsess over, a different life to ruin. She laughed out loud to my face. Nonsense, no woman sits on the council. She turned her head to make eye contact with each of the ladies as she spoke. I'm the financial officer, I insisted. Why would I lie? How could I lie? My position had never been officially announced. It wasn't customary to do so. But it hadn't occurred to me that no one had told their wives that they served with a woman, with me. And no one there stood up for me. I don't think they knew. You must sleep with the king. Her words stung as they rang through my ears. Her gaze slowly glided down my body. I gasped audibly, lifting my hand to the collar of my neck. Not only was the accusation deplorable and disgusting as well. I refused to satisfy her need for a debate or the excitement she was searching for in creating drama. It was a preposterous notion and deserved no attention. To do so would be beneath my moral character. I had better things to focus on, as the census and the GDP report were due soon. So I excused myself and left the meeting early, taking a cookie with me. Somebody ought to be eating them. I stood to leave, and the king summoned me to stay behind after the monthly meeting of the council. Of course, production was up. We had far too much surplus, as usual. The service fae of the lower branches continued dying at younger and younger ages and in higher amounts. And I had predicted this trend. I had been proven right. After years of the same issues, no changes had been made. And once we were alone, well, except for the king's messenger, who stood in the corner waiting to be called upon. I always took notice of him. His dreamy, downturned eyes and his long, deep maroon hair, the way his shirt rippled over his lanky physique. The king addressed me directly. He didn't stand. I did. A strange position to be looking down at the king. It was unheard of, and I wondered why. But I dared not question him. I'm told that you have said that we are lovers. He addressed me, tapping his ring on the table in tempo with his words. A bitch, I thought, burning flames of anger coursed through my veins. I keep many mistresses, and none of them are kept private. So why would these words reach my ears? They could have come from only you. He was visibly enraged, and my shoulders slumped. My muscles trembled in fear beneath my gown. No words of the matter ever left my mouth. I defended myself, and I explained what had transpired between Janice and I at the last meeting. It felt so trivial to bother the king with lies, rumors, and innuendos. But still, here I was, doing just that, knowing my livelihood, life for that matter, was in danger. It's inappropriate for you to remain unwed. He seemingly changed the subject, confounding my confusion and also raising my anger. In light of recent accusations, your inability to find a husband on your own, the word stung with the power of 1,000 bees, I have arranged for you to be wed, the king said. My eyes locked on the messenger to the king. I'd never learned his name. It had been inappropriate to address him in a casual way, and a montage of fantasies I'd had of him fluttered through my mind. It must have shown in my eyes. To a man of your station, the king proceeded. You'll wed in a week's time. It's all arranged. He will take your position and title on the council, but your work will remain the same. And he dismissed me without a chance to retort. I left not knowing who I was to marry and heartbroken at my loss of title. If I were to lay eyes on that wretched attention whore, it would be the last thing she would see. That much I knew for sure. I wasn't going to marry a man I didn't know and lost my title to. It's been devastating to lose my title, but at least I still had the work, the numbers, the equations that I could lose myself in. I didn't know this man, and I had no idea what really was to be expected of me. I never had a mother. I had not wished to ever become one. What did a wife even do? Would I like it? Would I like him? The men at the court, especially the men who sat on the council, were any indication, doubted it. I had no reason to stay. I didn't want to stay. I had to leave. I could leave. This could not come to be. I wouldn't allow for it. It was my life and my existence. I would not be powerless within it. The night before the wedding ceremony, I left the tree and ran as fast as I could. I flew with a fierce urgency until I hit one of the walls of the aviary. And falling to my knees under the stars in the darkness of night, I cried. I was truly a prisoner. Prisoner to my society's ideologies and expectations. Prisoners to the walls that surrounded us all. I had nowhere to go. Compression took a tight hold on my chest, and I laid in the grass and cried until darkness greeted me. My eyes opened, and for a moment I was unsure of my surroundings. It was time for me to return and face my fears. A gown of all white had been delivered to me, with a silken veil that covered my hair. It was a thing of beauty, intricately embroidered and handcrafted to my exact dimension. All of the ladies of the Lily had planned it for me, and yet I still had not been given his name, a name I was expected to take. The ceremony was lovely, I must admit, though all of the ladies of the Lily's events were meticulously planned. I had expected nothing less. Ornate beauty surrounded me, and soft music played as I walked down the aisle, covered in crimson rose petals. And to my surprise, we were of the same age. He was strikingly handsome. His golden hair flowed down his strong back between his translucent wings that glittered and glistened in the candlelight. His strong jaw flexed when he lifted my veil, and our eyes locked. His dimples showed when he took his vows. This was my precipice, my cliff to die. Now I had the ability. I couldn't fly for the first time since the king had announced my fate. I'd not wanted to. All I had, was descriptions from books and my personal fantasies, but they were all fictions. The realities of what would come to be my wedding night were thoughts that had not occurred to me. Fantasies I had found exhilarating after seeing my new husband. Okay, so the wedding night story is recorded, or it's not recorded, it's written. But if you want it, KU or Amazon, because it's not safe for the internet. But let's finish up this tale, shall we? I snuck out before he could wake. A mixture of emotion, excitement, and pain excited me and left me wanting for more. More. I wanted of Thorn. That's his name, by the way. I wanted him daily, nightly. I found myself thinking of him. He was mine. Or moreover, I was his. I walked through Commons slowly to simply be away by myself, lost in thought. Each step I took with care. The pain he had left me with served as a delicious reminder of who he was and how he made me feel. A smile permanently stained my face. How could I feel like this for a man who stole my title and was to take credit for my work? I wanted to hate him. Trying to understand myself and my emotions, I ordered a coffee and a scone. All women knew. I took a bite, reading the posters that hung on the wall, not wanting to sit. Announcements, advertisements, propaganda, and among them, a decree by the king, and it read, "By order of the king, no woman shall be permitted to raise or otherwise change her title or station by manipulation, punishable by dismemberment or death." This would come to be the king's final decree. Somehow I knew the law had something to do with me. But I had been asked to serve above my station. I hadn't manipulated anything. I served my king at every command. It was not but a rumor, one that many had believed. Simple rumor that led to law. So thank you so much for being patient with me and hanging out and reading the rest of Cleon's tale. Next time we will pick up with Marguerite's tale. I am addicted to Marguerite. This woman, oh, just wait. Come back for next time. Hit that follow button if you haven't. Subscribe. so that you'll know when I post it, because I don't know when I'm going to post it. Maybe next Friday, maybe in 2 months. I don't know. But I will be back with more Fantasy Fiction Friday. Remember, in the meantime, you are valid, you are worthy, and you are loved. Okay, bye!